Grab your favorite alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage, drink responsibly, do not drink and drive, and join us for the latest episode of Why Complain When You Can Whine. Everything in this podcast is purely for entertainment and psychoeducational purposes only. Enjoy! Welcome to Why Complain When You Can Whine, making sense of the senseless. Join us as we attempt to make sense of toxic nonsense while drinking wine or any other beverage of your choice. And you will see I have a different beverage of choice today. Although I am Dr. Jodi Larman, licensed clinical psychologist, and I have to say, even though I have a different beverage today, my shirt says Rise and Wine.
I love it.
Because it is early today. Well, not early. It's earlier than usual. It's 1 o'clock here. So still kind of early. So I am drinking Bailey's chocolate and Cafe Bustelo. Sorry, wrong way. Cafe Bustelo.
Ooh, yummy. That sounds
Bailey's
good.
chocolate in my iced Mickey movie glass, and my ice melted sadly because my family was here and they use up all the ice in my ice maker throughout the time, so I was able to get enough ice to make my iced coffee, and then it was like all done. Now it's got to turbo itself back too. So it is very cold though. Thankfully there was ice in there, but yes, this is my drink. And as you can see, our special guest is back.
Of course. Yes, hi. I got my drink here. This is tequila mixed with a little peach juice and orange juice.
Juice,
so cheers.
Good. Cheers.
And it's hot in New York City, so I'm sitting here fanning because I don't have AC in this room. My AC is in the other room, but it's okay. I will get through it.
You have to introduce yourself. Even though I said
spiritual whistleblower. Hi, everybody. Spiritual whistleblower. Hey.
Everybody pretty much already knows when they saw, they knew. But for those of you who, for some reason, don't have social media or have not been paying attention, we have spiritual whistleblower Chanel on again. Yay!
Well, I don't do podcasts much, but there's only certain people that I do. So when you call, it's anytime, Doc, anytime for you.
And we love, because it's only me right now, but love talking to you. So if we're going to talk, it's like, let's make it a podcast because there's something to say and to talk about.
Yeah.
So
lots to catch up. When was the last time we talked?
It has been a while, and we haven't done any podcasts during the summer and that wasn't an intentional thing. I was on vacation and then I had surgery and then I had construction, and I'm going to be having upper gum graft soon. So I'm going to be out for that. So, and then Brianne Burry, my co-host, she has had her kids all instead of joint. She's had them all summer. So she has been kind of chaotic. So we have just been down. I haven't really been on social media either. So yes, how have you been? It has been a bit.
You know what? The word I want to use, and I'm starting to use more, is stoic. Living my life very happily and peacefully under the radar. So this year has been just me focusing on my fitness goals, my personal hobbies, no dating, no toxic distractions, just, trying to devote myself to living a very peaceful life. So I've been doing great. Great.
I was going to ask, I have two questions.
Yes.
Two totally separate questions based on what you said. So the first one is going to be, as far as your fitness goals, you've accomplished a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
I have. Well, part of that, I think the last time I talked to you, I was having surgery on my right leg. This was 6 months ago, December, 7 months. Jesus, year is going by so fast.
God, yes.
But I have a condition, and most women of all races, ethnicities have this issue. They're just not educated on it. But I have lipedema, and it's like a hardened, broken up fat that stores in our legs and our arms, and it does not go away with diet and exercise. So I have a severe case in my legs. So I have an amazing vascular surgeon, and yes, insurance will pay for it. You just gotta get it diagnosed.
But it's
So
not
it's not.
cosmetic. It is medical necessity because it doesn't feel good, does it?
It burns. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
So it's
But
not just as cosmetic because of looks and stuff. It is because it is not a good thing to have. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
For a long time, though, insurance companies said no because his procedure, he cuts it out. But another way to get out is liposuction. You mention the word liposuction to an insurance company, it's automatically cosmetic.
Yeah.
So he will cut and he removes like 10 pounds from each of my legs. So I had surgery the end of December, the week of Christmas. So I'm still rehabilitating, but that's a big, huge part of my weight loss transformation, and just dieting, and I'm dancing, which I love, and just staying active. So that's all I've been doing this year, and minding my business and sipping my tea, and just watching the news and all this election and everything. So much going on, but
okay. Now you mentioned the word tea. So this comes to my second question is trying to stay toxic free.
Yes.
How is that going?
I got hoovered last month, July. I wasn't shocked by it. I'm just tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm highly educated on narcissistic abuse, and narcissists are pretty predictable, but it's just mind blowing when they do what they do. And I got hoovered by my mother, who I cut off over 15 years ago.
Oh,
so yeah, that's the toxicity that I do my best to avoid. And I have to pat myself on the back because I was non-reactive to it. I just deleted it and I moved right on, went about my day. But I try to be transparent, and I share my experiences with my audience and people. There's a lot of people struggling with staying no contact. And when they get hoovered, they fall hook, line, sinker for it. And you have to be non-reactive because these people do not change. My mother has not changed.
Here's the thing with parents. It's even harder with parents.
Yes.
Because there's so many things going on. One is society, movies, TV, unconditional love comes from the parent. And even in the movies, when there's a parent that's not loving, in the end, they all make up and it's all good and feel good and everything. So when people don't have the parent like that, and on the one hand, they know it's a movie, it's a rom-com, it's a whatever, it's not real, but we still want that. We still want that from our parents, because the one unconditional love in our life should come from our parents.
Yes.
I may not like your behaviors. I may not agree with what you do, but I will love you forever. You are my child. I will love you forever. And when we don't get that, it is so hard because one, we look for it in other people. Not on purpose. We're not going out and looking, but we become people pleasers. We become, if I do this, they'll like me. And then by surrogacy or vicariously, our parents will like us. And then that doesn't change. And we do look at it as it's our fault. Our parents like us. Even if logically we know it's not us, it still comes down to, it's my parent. They're supposed to love me. They don't. It must be my fault. And I did something wrong. And when they're really toxic, they blame you anyways.
Regardless, it's never their fault.
Right. So there's
I did the best I could. The gaslighting starts. I did the best I could. My mother said in a message to me, which I felt was gaslighting, Chanel, there's no handbook on motherhood. And that sent me off immediately because I'm a mom. You're a mom, and I'm as a single mom, and my daughter, has a disability. I don't have all the answers as a mom. And yes, it is hard when you're doing it on your own and there is no handbook, but I went in with a lot of common sense, knowing I don't want to relive what my parents put me through as a child. I'm not going to do that to my kid. It's just common sense. So when she said that statement, I felt like she was gaslighting me. And the whole message was, it was so victim. She's such the victim. She said she's so exhausted of everything. She said that she sincerely hopes I'm happy, which I don't believe. And she said in the message, there's so many apologies and things she wants to say to me. She wants to meet privately with me, which is, I would never do that. And yeah, the gaslighting, there's no handbook on motherhood, and here's my number. No, I deleted it because, and also to the lack of empathy. You haven't seen me in 15 years. You can't bring yourself to say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot, my daughter gets on my last nerves, and Lord knows we have our arguments and we go through our ups and downs. There's not a day I don't tell her I love her. There's no way. I can't even see myself. I want her to know she's loved. Mm-hmm. If anyone else don't love you in the world, I love you. It's like it will burn her mouth, mm-hmm. my mother's mouth, to say I love you. There was no empathy. And then too, she didn't ask about my daughter, which was another red flag. That my daughter is the first. My mother has, I think, how many? It's like 4 grandchildren, 3, 4. And my daughter was the first born into our family immediately. They've missed every milestone. They have my address. They don't mail her anything. Prom, graduation, birthday, she gets nothing. But my mother spoils all the other grandchildren. So in the message, that was the other thing I noticed. Didn't bother asking, how's my granddaughter? And I said, you know what? She hasn't changed. There's an agenda. There's a hidden agenda in this message. And it's for me. Doc, I'm so glad I'm telling you this, because they think I'm crazy, but I'm talking to a licensed clinical psychologist, so they can't pull one on you. Mm-hmm. You're going to tell it like it is. But I just felt it was disingenuous. And it was just her luring. It feels like damage control, because now spiritual whistleblower is on the up and up. I'm popular. I'm doing well in life. I've lost weight. I feel great. I'm doing great. I'm excelling right now. And I feel like I have family members that want to connect and bond with me, and they can't because of all the damage my mother's caused. So this is her way of doing damage control privately. And if I allow her back in my life, she'll run back and tell family, oh, things are good again. Chanel came back and patched things up. So I feel like this is a form of damage control to save for her to save face.
How did she's been did she text you? Was it a text?
It was an Instagram. It was an inbox, a DM.
So it wasn't even really a private text to you. It was a private text on a social media account.
Yes.
So that right there is like, wait a minute. Does she not know your phone number?
I haven't given it to her, but my number is public knowledge because I use it for coaching services.
So she could could get it if she wanted.
Yes.
It's not like,
and my email, everything is public.
Okay. Yeah. So first off, if I really, now I don't know your mom, I have to say this. I can't diagnose anybody. I only get one side when people give me their side of the story and all of that. Yeah. So I'm not saying she is, but I could meet her and she's a delightful woman. I have no idea, but I'm just going by what you say, and I don't think she is. So I don't want anyone saying, how could you say that about someone you've never met? Right. So, however, if I really want to connect with you, I'm going to text you I'm going to call you probably, but if I'm kind of afraid of the reception, I will send you a text, not Instagram DM you, for one. Yeah. Because that's also the way I see that, and maybe no one else does, but the way I see that is that it's not even you that she's talking to. It's spiritual whistleblower. It's your social media persona that she's talking to, meaning she also knows that you're on the rise and you're doing well, and toxic people also want to get in on that because God forbid you do better without them than they are doing without you. They want to, again, ride on your coattails. And as they're riding on your coattails, they're also pulling you down.
Come on, Doc. You talking my language now. You talking my language.
So if she's hearing things about you, she sees your social media.
She's stalking me. She stalking
sees
me.
Your followers. It's like twofold, I think. I can get in on that. I can cash in on that. And as I'm cashing in on that, how dare she be successful despite me and without me, and I'm not successful. So it's very manipulating, very manipulating. But like you said, they have an agenda. I don't know of any toxic person that doesn't have an agenda. I mean, we all have agendas. We know what we want to do. We know where we want to go, but their agenda is manipulating and conniving and toxic.
Yes. And this is good to hear this from a clinical standpoint. And Doc, I just need you to reiterate what hoovering is. When a narcissist hoovers you, because a lot of people don't understand the nature of hoovering and they just never go away. And when you think they go away, they've always been lurking in the shadows. They're always there. They're always there.
Even if it's by proxy.
Yes.
They will, now when I say she, the general, he, they may never look at your social media, but they'll ask people.
Yes.
They'll check up on you. Oh, how are they doing? Where do they work? What are they doing? Are they seeing anyone? They will check up on you. They have not forgotten about you. They have not moved on from you. They've just put you on the shelf.
Yes.
And hoovering, if you think of a vacuum, it's trying to pick up what's there. It's like, I'm here and now I need to suck you back in to my life at your own detriment, but I'm going to do whatever. That's where the love bombing in relationship starts too. But that's also where I did the best that I could.
Yep.
And I'm not surprised if parents also, it wasn't that bad. Look, your siblings don't have an issue. I don't know why you saw it that way. You know, one thing about toxic people do this. So I'm not going to say it's only toxic people. And if somebody does this, run. However, this is a hallmark of a toxic person. And if you haven't already heard this, I know you have, Chanel. If you haven't already heard this, Darvo.
Yes.
Darvo is when you say something, deny, argue, deny, attack. I'm like, can't remember what the
attack.
Yeah. Deny, attack, reverse offender.
Yes.
Meaning there was no handbook. How dare you say I was a bad mom? You know, you were a unruly child. You were always getting into trouble. I tried my best.
Come on, Doc. You speaking my language now. Come on, Doc.
So when someone does Darvo, and again, people do it because sometimes it's true. Sometimes it's like, whoa, why are you coming after me? You're the one that just said that. You're the one gaslighting me, you know?
Yes.
But it's the attack part. It's the deny, attack. You know, they can't just say, no, I didn't do that. I think you were the one that said that to me or something like that. They'll say, how dare you? I never did that. You were the one this whole time. I held my shit together. And you have no idea what a complicated child you were. You have no idea how hard it was for me to parent you. I did my best. You did whatever you wanted. So when they're attacking you and they become the victim, it's the attack part that's when you know this ain't going anywhere. You're not going to get your message through. They're not going to hear you because they know and they don't want to hear you.
Yeah.
But they also don't know because they live in their own heads of they are the most wonderful people in the world, but they also hate themselves.
Yeah.
I would hate to be in that world. Knock wood, thank God I don't think I am, but if I have to question it, I'm not.
And I would think too, maybe supply is running out. That's not like her. I mean, the last time she reached out to me was when COVID, because New York City, we got hit with it first before it spread through the rest of the country. So I remember when we got hit with COVID and it was a big thing here in New York, we were fine. Me and my daughter I didn't even catch COVID for a long time. Even, you know, I was scared in New York. She sent me the same cold inbox message. Chanel, it's mom. Family wants to know if you're okay. Bye. no I love you. It was so cold. I said delete. I didn't respond. So cold, no empathy. I'm like, no, you want to know if I have COVID. You want to see me go down.
Yeah.
You want to know if I'm sick.
And here's the thing. So for people who are saying, if they are, I have to address this. That's not really a bad. That's caring. Family wants to know if you're okay. Okay, first off, this is the mom. This is your mom, not,
Yeah.
hey, Chanel, I hear it's really bad in New York. This is kind of terrifying. Are you okay? Have you and your daughter been fine? No, it's family wants to know. Not even, we're all worried about you. The family is concerned. We want to know if you're okay. Even if she doesn't want to be a part of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could still use the general we. We want to know that you're okay.
And there was no I love you. We love you. I love you. Nothing. I said, no, this is fake. Bleep. I'd rather catch COVID than to talk to her. That's how I felt when I got that message.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't respond.
And it is, I'm sorry that you have to go through that, because especially with parents, even though even though she's toxic, even though you cut her out of your life, and this is okay, no judgment, right, wrong, anything. Is there this little part of you that's like, damn, bitch, why do you have to be like that?
It's every time. And it's like you could be doing, and I'm having a great year. You know, I'm doing well right now. I'm exceptionally well. And it rattles you. When they come out of nowhere, it rattles you. Like, why?
Yeah. And they know
it's like they know you're at peace, and they know
it rattles you. They know that even if you're not, the good thing is, here's one good get back, is when you don't respond, that rattles them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying tit for tat. That's not what I'm trying to, I don't play games. It's not, but knowing that, okay, they rattled me, but you know what? I rattled them worse. I rattled them worse because now they know I'm not going to respond. But it knocks you, when my ex texted me 2 years after, 2 years after, randomly out of the blue. And I just responded with, who is this? Because he texted from a burner number. I knew who it was, but I just responded with, who is this?
Yeah.
Told me his name, and I never responded again. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a freaking clinician, right? And I was just like in my kitchen going,
I know you was.
Text me. Why? I don't want to think about you. And
yes, thank you.
Text me one more time, you bastard. And I'm like, okay. We are entitled to our feelings. Our feelings are not right or wrong. Process your feeling, and then do not give them the power. It's easy. I don't know why I didn't say that out loud, but because I can cuss, it's okay. But when it's your parents, it's worse. When it's a parent, it's worse.
And the amount of I know I've grown, because
Yeah.
in that moment I wanted to chew her out. And it took, Chanel, you've been in EMDR therapy, you've done so well. You will go backwards. Ignore. That will do more damage.
Yep.
Ignoring her. Let her sit in her own shit.
Yeah.
That's it. And move on and continue doing what you're doing. But I tell my story. I just posted, I took a social media break last month, Doc. I needed it because just reading the news, and so it's just so much going on. I just took a breather, and I didn't realize there's so many people right now. I read a recent article, I forget, I should have saved it, where adults are cutting off their parents. It's like an epidemic now.
Yeah.
Because they're realizing their parents were narcissistic and abusive, and it just will not change. It's the same old, well, I did the best I could. It's the same old story. And when I tell my stories, I have several, whether it's family or a lover, but when I specifically talk about the family part of my life, because my mother was violent, every and anything you can think of. And she's still married to the man that molested me, her second husband. Still married. They've been married close to 40 years. And he slept with her close girlfriend. She stayed with him. She knows he's toxic and a serial cheater. She cheats on him. He cheats on it. But it's just the ideal, like, when I tell these stories, it's just amazing how many people come forward and they're like, me too.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I'm going through this with my family too, my parents, my mother. I cannot believe how much of an epidemic this is, Doc. And it's good hearing it from you. I'm in school, pursuing a psychology degree, but you actually, you have the credentials and you know this stuff inside and out. And I really highly respect you. So, and me posting this to TikTok so that my followers can hear it from an actual clinical psychologist, it's okay to cut ties with family. It's very difficult, and the family know that when they're toxic, they know it's going to tug at your heartstrings. They know what they're doing when they hoover you, and how hard you fight to stay away, and you're working on yourself. They see that you're leveling up and you're glowing up and you're doing much better without them. That's why it's so nasty to me. It's calculated when they pop back up in your life, because now it's damage control. I'm doing better without you, and you've talked so bad about me to the rest of the family. Now you've got to do some form of you're controlling the narrative. You got to suck me back in to save face because you've talked about me so bad.
I read an article. It kind of irritated me a little bit, this article, because as things get more, I don't want to call it trendy, but more in the news, more in social media, more out there. There was an article a week or two ago about, should you really cut ties with your family when they're toxic? These are the things that you should know beforehand.
Who wrote that article?
That's what I was like. Are you a clinician? It's usually, with all due respect, master's levels clinician, which really, it's usually social workers that write these articles, to tell you the truth. But this is a thing, and this is what I tell my clients. You can go gray rock if you have to. If you cannot cut your family off, or you don't want to cut your family off, you go gray rock. That is not easy. That is like the Easter Island statues. I am not going to become emotionally involved. I will give you the information you need. I will get information from you. I will come to the family dinner, but I will not become involved in the drama, and then I will leave. That's not easy to not get caught up in drama. Now, they were saying that people were like, oh my God, I'm so distressed because I went no contact. And it's like, yes, it is distressing that you had to go no contact. But is the distress, are you also at peace without the toxicity? So it is distressing. I would be lying and I would be telling you the wrong thing if I said it's easy. Go no contact with your family. It's not. They're your family. They're blood. We've always been told blood is thicker than water, and we got to take care of our family, and you're bonded. No, we are born into family. We didn't choose it. We chose our friends. If you would not have chosen your family as friends, why do you have to put up with abuse and toxicity? You don't. And if you would say goodbye to a friend, if you have to cut ties, and I'm not advocating that if your parents are irritating you, if your parents put a curfew on you and you don't like the curfew, if your parents are, oh my God, my mom is toxic, she won't let me do this. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about true toxic, abusive, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, any kind of abusive, and NPD, cluster B, toxicity where you feel, on a scale from 1 to 10 of my life is good, I am in a good place, 10, you are at a 1 when you are around your family. When you leave,
-0.
You're just like, you just feel, what the hell happened? I was hit by a toxic dump truck.
Or you're drained after leaving a family function.
Then
completely.
Go no contact. Because honestly, if you want to preserve your sanity, yesterday I was talking to my sister and my brother and my niece, and we were talking about gaslighting, because my sister was saying that someone was telling her, well, that's gaslighting. Now you're gaslighting me. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm telling you something. You don't want to hear it. That's gaslighting. No, it's not. So my niece asked, what is gaslighting? What is an example? And I said, gaslighting, one, is when somebody is telling you something didn't happen when it's proof and evidence are right there. And they're saying this to make you feel like you are the one that is crazy.
Yes.
You did not see me on Instagram liking somebody's post. I did not do that. It's right here. No, you're the one that shouldn't be looking at my Instagram in the first place. There's the Darvo. Or I'm going to say this. I'm not trying to get political, but I have to say this. There are how many pictures of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
Go ahead and bring Trump into it because he should be the
Poster
Go
child.
ahead.
Poster child for gaslighting. He's gaslighting. But Trump has pictures upon pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He has interviews where he said he's such a fine man. He's a good friend. When shit went down, Trump was like, I've never met the man before. I don't know him. That's gaslighting. And when people say, what about those pictures? Oh, it was at a function. I was shaking everybody's hand. I don't know who I was taking pictures with. No, that is gaslighting. That is big time gaslighting.
He should be a case study for narcissism. I mean, Trump is the epitome. I just can't.
He is evil incarnate, I think.
He is a walking demon. He's a demon.
Yes. Yeah. He goes above and beyond. But someone like that is, and he does the Darvo. Okay.
All the time. Imagine the women. Imagine his female victims. I can't even, because he's a pig.
Yeah.
And a rapist.
Since I'm on a roll with this, he was just at the convention of, what is it? The Black Journalist Convention?
NABJ. I was going to mention it. Go ahead, Doc. I was going to mention it. Go ahead. Okay. Go on with it.
This right here. If you just read the transcript of the very first question he's asked.
That set him off. Darvo.
First thing he says is, how can you ask me that question? No pleasantry. No, how are you? No, nice to see you.
She greeted him.
Huh?
She greeted him when he came in. Hello, Mr. Former President. She did all that. She greeted you. Were you listening?
Until she asked him questions he didn't want to hear. And then he tried to flip the script. Tried. Oh my gosh, you invited me here and now you're attacking me.
And your equipment doesn't work. Your microphones are terrible.
If you have not heard about this, you need to. You really need to. And what I don't understand were the people that were then, even one of his press people or one of his campaign people who is Black was saying, oh my God, they treated him so terribly. It wasn't his fault. It's like, how are you being gaslit so bad? So
that was excellent journalism. They asked the right questions. If we're gonna elect you to be president of our country, we need to know these things. Yep. These things are on record, they're factual, so don't flip it around, which he did, and play victim.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me these questions? How dare you? You work for ABC. No, she's doing her job. She did an excellent job, if you ask me. You just can't answer the questions.
He loved her when she asked questions in the past because she's interviewed him in the past.
Yeah.
And threw softballs. Oh, he loves that. But you asked me a real question. Any NPD, any narcissistic personality disorder person, you ask them the right question and you will get
yeah. They love talking about themselves and when you ask the right questions,
but if you ask a loaded question of, for example, why did you do, or what did you do, and they don't want to answer it, you will get the works of what a horrible person you are for asking that question, especially you're racist, biased, liberal, all the names in the world, they will call you just to not answer the question.
And they had receipts. Like, you, sir, you said this, you invited this person to dinner, the KKK leader or whatever. This is on record. We're coming with receipts. Don't get mad at me. This is your doing and it's on record. Do you have an answer for this? You want Blacks to vote for you? Well, explain this behavior. and the things that you've done. And he flipped it around. He sure did.
And he said, I have done more for blacks than any other president since Abraham Lincoln. And they said, what about Johnson? What about President Johnson? He signed the Civil Rights Act in 1965. And then he did something else. I can't remember what else he signed into law. And he said, I am the best president for black people since Abraham Lincoln. It's like, you just ignored because you don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Because you know.
The deflection was at an all-time high, which is why his camp pulled the plug early. They pulled him up out of there because they were going to go into Project 2025, which I would have loved to hear. I would have loved to hear about it.
He has absolutely nothing to do with it. Although, didn't he remove the leader of it now, the director? If you have nothing to do with it, you have the power to get the director to leave.
Yeah.
His
team got him up out of there. They said, no, this is a disaster.
He blamed the journalist. He blamed the convention. He said that, how dare you? And then you cut it short. And it's like, oh, the latest. And I'm sorry, yes, this is getting political because it's kind of fun to think about. I mean, it's not fun. It's very, very serious. But when you laugh at this stuff, if it weren't so serious and true. But now he was supposed to have a debate on the
10th, September 10th, which Kamala is still going to move forward with, whether he shows up.
He wants to pull out. He wants it on Fox.
On the 4th.
Yeah.
Yes. No, she does. No. He's scared. He's terrified.
Mm-hmm. I love it. That is one thing. I think I'm vicariously loving it even more because NPDs, when they are scared, so I think about what my ex would do when they're scared, they're like, it's dangerous. And again, in a relationship and stuff, it is dangerous. Looking back from afar, it is funny. You can laugh at it now because they are sadly, pathetically predictable people.
Sad.
And unfortunately, he had the nuclear code. So this is very serious. So I am not making light of it, but it is funny in the sense that he is reacting as you would expect.
Moving the goalpost is what I call with it. It's moving the goalpost, right? That's what
I gotta do and grab and say and throw whatever I can. And what is it? Well, she's not really black.
That was the worst thing that could have ever came out of his mouth. None of us are. I'm not 100%. Listen, most black people are mixed with something. We all are mixed. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, sir?
He never cared about her blackness until now. It's like, okay. Let's just say that were true. Let's just say she never said anything about it till now. Who cares?
And that's her life. That's her issues with her identity. What does that have to do with
being president? Nothing. It doesn't change who or anything. If she wants to say that, you know what? I ran a DNA test and I'm a quarter or an eighth Ukrainian. Just making this up.
Yeah.
And we're at the Ukrainian war and now I feel a special pull there. Fine. I don't care. I don't care if you are 1/50th of everything. Whatever you want to go with it.
Most black people were mixed with something. We have Indian or Hispanic. It's we all, if you go through your heritage, even me, my great grandparents were biracial. Like, I thought that was so ridiculous. Kamala went to an all black historically college and she pledged her sorority, the AKAs, that's an all black female. Like, shut up, Donald. Shut up. I couldn't believe he said that.
The reason he's saying that is so that all the black people will be like, "Ooh, traitor. See, she was never one of us in the first place. And now suddenly she's trying to be one of us. We got to go with the most racist, vile, disgusting orange person. We like him better than a black woman, half black, half Indian, who is now coming into her blackness." I don't know how to say it, but it's like,
oh my God, I can't.
There's a lot of blacks that are going to be like, oh my God, how dare she? I'm going to now go with Trump because of that. I'm gonna go with an orange man.
Who does he have advising him? Like, who is around him?
No one. No one.
Who is
No one
helping?
can.
Oh my
Goes
God.
off script all the time.
Is there somebody there saying, don't say this, don't say that? Or is he telling them to go to hell? Like, I'm just like, who is advising him? Who is around him?
Supposedly, his advisor said, do not mention Kamala and her race at all. Just discuss the facts. And the first thing he did was, oh, suddenly she's black?
Well, Doc, you know, that's how narcissists are. You know, you tell them to do one thing, they do the complete opposite.
Yep.
They're going to do what they want just to spite you, because in their minds, it's always a competition.
Yep.
You don't tell me to do that. Oh, yeah, watch this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go tit for tat with you. You tell him to do something and he's going to do the opposite because he's Donald Trump. You're not going to tell me what to do.
I know better than you. I know better. I know better. I didn't get where I am because of you. I got where I am because of me. No, you kind of didn't. So if you want to know all about narcissistic personality disorder and psychopathy, cluster B, and just pure evil,
Donald Trump.
seriously, he is the case study for that.
He is the epitome.
And I honestly don't care if there are people that now don't want to watch this because, oh my God, we're saying this. It's true.
It is true. He is a case study.
Ask the vast majority of clinical psychologists. I'm not going to say all because there are conservative ones that really adore
the majority of them,
the
because they're all not good like you
are like, nope. And I've had people say to me when he first became president and clinicians were all saying NPD, NPD, NPD. I had people say to me, how do you know? You never met the man and you just see what he's doing. It's like, you know what? In psychology, the vast majority of what we do is based on observation.
Observation. Thank you. That's the word. You can tell a lot just by observation.
When I worked in the prison, 99% of what was going to happen of you staying in mental health versus being discharged because you didn't need mental health was based on what we saw you do when you weren't with us. I had guys that would come in and so depressed and it's horrible. And then they'd leave and they'd be out playing basketball. They'd be kicking it with the homies. Now, that doesn't mean that depression, you can't mask the depression because there are people that mask the depression. But we don't just look at one example. We watch them in their cells.
You look for patterns.
Yes.
Look for patterns. Yes.
Thank you. Exactly. And when people are masking depression, they're also not out there, doing certain things. They behave in a certain way. So when you're watching somebody and you're seeing them on TV all the time, same patterns over and over and over and over and over, yeah, we can make that diagnosis. Plus with him, it was easy.
Yeah.
So I will say he is NPD. At the least, at the very
malignant and very overt with his, by the way. He's out there with his. He's not even trying to hide it.
I was gonna say he don't hide anything. Yeah. He don't hide anything. And I bet you, I don't know this. There's probably no way I'll ever know this. But here's the thing with narcissists, NPD narcissists. They don't give a fuck.
No.
They don't care. You can say you are a narcissist. NPD. And they will say, one, you're the narcissist. Yeah. They'll always blame you. However,
always.
If you tell them you're a narcissist, like I told my ex, he's like, okay. And so if you told Trump, he would probably say, and I am the best narcissist ever in all of narcissists.
I help Black people. I help everyone. And he'll just deflect and go to something else.
What I don't understand, and maybe you know the answer to this, he said that historically Black colleges were going bankrupt. They were all underfunded, ready to go under, and he saved them all.
That's a lie. I don't believe that for one bit.
I don't believe it at all, because I've never seen anything or heard anything about that.
No.
He said if it weren't for him, there would be no more historical.
I've got to do research on that because I have not ever heard of him helping Black colleges. I mean, I don't know. I've heard different celebrities giving back. I don't like Diddy, and that's another topic we can talk about later because we can dissect him. Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah. We all did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he donated a lot of money. He went to Howard, I believe. Was it Howard? He donated millions. So you hear stories where celebrities give back to their alma maters and stuff like that. I have not heard nothing about Donald Trump. And I got to do my research on that. And I went to a HBCU. So I think he did a lot of lying. You know, sociopaths are compulsive liars, of course, and they believe their own lies. But it was shocking. Just listening to the audience gasp and laugh at him during that convention. I said, I hope y'all know that y'all are getting a textbook. This is a lesson on textbook narcissism. Yeah. Just sit there and watch him. And then did you see how he grabbed a water bottle and he was tightening? You could see his frustration when he handled the water bottle towards the reporter. He didn't like that woman. Yeah. She got him. She got him good.
He used to, but he didn't at that point. It's funny, but I didn't even know. I've never even heard that historically Black colleges were ready to go bankrupt. I mean, I know they're probably underfunded and all that, but never, oh my God, they were on their last legs and I helped them up.
The alumni would never let the alumni would donate. Like, I can't, no. College.
You're talking about the same man who said that immigrants are taking Black and brown jobs?
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. What is a Black job, sir? What is a Black job? Define a Black job, please.
And if people really thought about that, they wouldn't even, no minority would vote for Trump, because what he's talking about is immigrants go and pick the vegetables and fruits in the fields.
Yes.
The vast majority of farm laborers are minorities, usually typically undocumented, because they're the only ones. They work hard and they will do those jobs. I will not go out in the sun for 12 hours a day to pick strawberries. They do, because they want the money and they need
Or construction. They take the hard labor jobs.
Even construction can be a good job. I don't mean that farm worker is not a good job, but what I'm saying is, you're saying Black and brown people jobs are manual labor, farm worker, picking cotton. Is that what you're thinking? Picking cotton, picking strawberries, picking fruit. Is that the Black and brown job you're talking about?
Sweating in the sun, slaving.
So amazingly beyond Black and brown job. That is so fucking racist. That is like you may as well say you are worth nothing more and deserve no better job than cotton picking. That's like that to me, and I'm not Black, and that is so offensive. And
it's extremely offensive
out there working in the fields, because that's all you're good for.
Yeah. You're coming over here and taking the Black jobs. Ooh, we should be scared.
But that it's and then when he's asked what those are, he can't answer them.
No.
But you know what he was thinking, and if you say that's not what he meant, please. And they definitely work in the fields, because Florida lost a lot of day laborers when they cracked down on immigration, and the farmers were like, our crops are going.
Wow.
So he is. Go on, sorry.
Did you see how when Simone Biles won the Olympic gold and she was holding up her gold piece, she said, I love my Black job.
Oh, no, I didn't. I like that.
Dig at Donald Trump. Yeah, she said, I love my Black job.
I did not know that. That is good. That is good. Because that's what I don't understand how. I don't. If someone can explain to me, someone who is a minority can explain to me why they want to vote for Trump so badly, why he doesn't mean the amazingly horrible things he says.
I will tell you, Doc, the only thing I picked up, because I remember it takes me back to my last relationship over 6 years ago, and my ex was an ex-convict of 20 years, a very violent one. And he said something to me in conversation, and I didn't take it serious, but I see it was another red flag. He said, I like Trump. I'm gonna vote for Trump because he's for the felons. And all I can think of is abusers support abusers. So when I look at these Black men in these large numbers committing Black femicide, they're now crossing over when they deal with white women and women that are not Black, Asian, Hispanic, they're abusing them too. What I'm learning is Black men and white women have the highest divorce rates. They're unaliving. They're now crossing over and doing other races. They're traveling out the country, seeking Brazilian and Dominican women and stuff. They're abusing other women. And now it's becoming a worldwide thing. Like, Black men are destructive. So why would a Black man support Trump? Because Trump is an abuser. He's nasty. He's a pig. He's a pedo, a predator, a pedophile, a rapist. So Black men that can identify with his behavior will support him. Abusers support abusers. That's the only thing I can think of, because it makes no sense. He's clearly racist.
My ex was Mexican. My ex was an anchor baby. His parents were not documented. They became citizens from what he told me, but they had him here in the United States. So he was an anchor baby. And he all for Trump. All for Trump. And it's like, he wants to deport you, even though you're a citizen. He wants all minorities, all Hispanics, all South Americans, born here or not. He wants y'all deported. He wants this place, and this is now becoming a different topic, but we don't have to go into it, but he wants it to be white, evangelical, Christian nation.
Which it'll never be.
Let's hope to God not, because that's why we left England. Because the church, separation of church and state, and they want to bring that back. They want to make state church.
Well, the church is toxic too. So we that's a whole nother topic of covert narcissism. But I want to ask you really quick. We didn't get into JD Vance, who's a piece of
God,
a piece of filth.
I would love to do a whole podcast on that. Yeah. Oh my God, please. Yes, let's.
I saw on TikTok and I had to look twice. His wife appears to be Indian.
Yeah.
And when she gave a speech, I said, I know a woman suffering narcissistic abuse. She does not look well. Her eyes are sunken in. She looks sick. Mm-hmm. But she's there giving a speech in defense of him or whatever. I said, I know a broken woman when I see one. We all, if you've ever survived a toxic relationship with a narcissist and you know you lost yourself, you were sick. A lot of women get cancer and autoimmune disease and stuff. I can spot that woman is suffering behind closed doors with that piece of scum. If he's out here telling us this and that, and Christians or single women or cat ladies, he has said a bunch of garbage. I can only imagine what she's putting up with behind closed doors. She looks sick. She does not look well to me.
He did say that she's been getting a lot of racist attacks on her, but you know, she's great. She's my wife. She's a woman. He didn't say it was wrong. He didn't say, stop your racist attacks on my wife. There's no place for racism and bigotry and all that. Instead, it was like, but you know, she's a great woman.
He's sadistic. He's enjoying watching his wife.
Yeah, he's not condemning any of it. Oh, he is another. I did a video like a year ago when he said initially, maybe it was 2 years now, but when he said that people should stay in a marriage, even potentially if it's violent.
No.
And it's like, okay, this brings us back to the no contact shit.
Yeah.
Not shit, sorry. No contact. If you are in a violent relationship and it is more dangerous for you right now to get out, you work with the Domestic Violence Hotline. It is encrypted. It's on your computer. It will erase. They can't search it up if in your search history. You work with them on an out plan. And then when it is safe and you've got this plan in motion, then you do get out. I get it. You can't just go no contact and get out with the violent person sometimes. Now, one thing that I learned, I used to do domestic violence assessments. And a lot of it takes 7 times. And this statistic has been for like 20 years at least. It takes 7 times for someone to leave, and come back, and leave and come back before they leave permanently. And that permanent leave also includes unalived. So, but a big reason that they'll go to a women's shelter, a domestic violence shelter, and they get found out, their abuser comes and gets them, because a lot of times they don't have the support. You have to have a support system, and they don't have that, and they call them up and they let them know where they are. Not on
or they'll
purpose.
tell a family member, and a family member will tell the abuser.
But the abuser will say, "Where are you calling me from? Where are you calling from? I can't tell you. You best better tell me, because I'll find you anyways." And then they stay where, because they feel guilty, because they gaslight you, they darvo you, they fuck with your head, and then they tell them, and then they show up. Domestic violence police calls are one of the most dangerous.
Yes.
That's where a lot of cops get shot at and killed, because domestic violence. So I'm not advocating for, if you're in a domestic violent relationship, just get out. I'm advocating for you to get out, but you've got to get out safely.
Be strategic about it and silent. You got to move in silence.
And once you are gone, you never contact them again.
Or their people, don't contact their family, their friends, because they have a whole system of people that work with them and help them and enable them. Everybody gets cut off.
If you have kids with them, again, you work with the domestic violence shelter. At least this was when I did the assessments. They will work with getting you and the kids. They'll meet you at a neutral place and all that. And then anything that you do, you never tell them where they are, you and the kids. And you work through an attorney. You do not ever speak to them again. You speak to a third party.
Yeah. And everything can be documented, and there's a witness.
Yeah. And you do things like a parenting app, which is a texting app that goes directly to the court if need be. It's evidence. It cannot be deleted or altered or edited or changed. They can't text you and then say, "I never text her. That wasn't me." It's all there. So it goes straight to a judge.
And the judge will see it. That's right.
You get a restraining order. I know restraining order is just a piece of paper, and it means absolutely nothing because it can't stop a bullet. But what it does mean is, I don't know about every state, but I'm going to pretty much probably say it's every state and county. The police will tell you, do you have a restraining order? If you don't have a restraining order, we can't do anything. So get a restraining order, at least to be able to say, yes, I do.
And you can get supervised visitations if you have one. You know, they'll abuse the children, even if it's verbally or emotionally. You don't want your kids around that. Get supervised visits, and they'll back off. They don't want to be watched.
Especially because they can't kidnap the kids.
They're being monitored. Yeah. So they hate supervised visits. It was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
They'll disappear. They don't commit to supervised visitation.
And it's like, you're not withholding anything from them. If they don't have nefarious means, if they don't have a nefarious reason, they should be fine with it.
Yeah.
But they're not. So just, if you are in a verbally and emotionally and spiritually and financially, not yet physically, but if you are in any of those, 99% of the time, it's going to turn physical.
Yeah.
Don't wait. It is domestic violence, mental, spiritual, psychological, emotional, financial, all of those are domestic violence. It doesn't have
even if he punches a wall or throws something, that's the early sign that he's going to eventually put hands on you.
But wait a minute. I was punching the wall. You just happened to be standing next to it. Yeah. If they punch anything, break things, that don't wait until it's you. And if they say, like, I know someone who, it's reactive abuse, I'm hitting you as reactive abuse. No, that's not how reactive abuse works.
Right. That's right.
if I say to you, who are you just talking to on the phone? And you say, bitch, why are you looking at my phone? Give me it back. And you hit me. That's not reactive abuse.
No, it's not. Because you getting caught in the act and you're pissed off that I caught you.
Yeah. And I don't care if I'm yelling at you. That's still not reactive abuse.
Right.
So if anybody is verbal, don't wait. Don't wait for the physical, because the emotional, that is domestic violence, and that will last a whole lot longer.
And they're testing you through the relationship to see how much you'll tolerate. So the more you tolerate, then it will lead up to physical eventually.
And that's why people, when you come back, when you leave, you come back, you leave, you come back, they know, okay, I can go to this step and she'll come back, or he'll come back. I can go to that step now and they'll come back. I can do that. They will disrespect you more and more.
Worse.
More
Yes.
and more. And this goes back to like your mom. If you would have responded, even if you said to your mom, fuck off. She's thinking about me. I got to her.
I'm on her mind.
Yeah. Why would you say that to me? That is a freaking open door.
Yes.
To hoover even more. I will turn on the alarm. And then the minute you don't respond the way that I want you to respond, I will be twice as bad as I was before.
Yes.
You ungrateful little bitch. I reached out to you. I extended an olive branch. It's not an olive branch, but okay, you keep thinking that. I did everything. And this is how you're treating me. This is why you think you had a bad childhood. This is how you behaved back then too. You will end up feeling initially way worse, way more screwed up, until you can process it through and understand it wasn't you, and then get through the anger of why did I even respond and open the door.
You got to heal all over again. It's a whole nother process.
And it's harder because now you have the guilt to yourself of why I wasn't going to respond. I responded. Now I'm mad at myself. It's like tearing off the scab of it was this close. Yeah. Like I had surgery and I had stitches and the doctor said there's really nothing you can do wrong. Now you should be fine. However, I would say wait another 2 weeks so that you don't get an infection. You don't undo everything that you did. You can't ruin the surgery, but you can get an infection and you can be on antibiotics and you can do all that stuff. Don't. So that same thing. It's like when it might have been almost healed and you just talked to them. You didn't just pull off the scab that was there. You just cut it deeper and wider all over again. So, and they know that. But again, if you would have, I commend you because I know it's not easy. And I know it's not something that once you do it and you come to terms with it, you're fine. You're good. You don't think about it again. Because it does. It keeps coming back of, why'd that bitch touch me? Okay. We're good.
It's like when it's like touching a hot stove. You keep touching a stove, you're going to keep getting burnt. Eventually you're going to stop. So this is years and years. She's done this to me repeatedly. And I finally learned my lesson. If I open up that door, they'll be nice temporarily to suck me back in. Then she's going to go back to that baseline bully behavior. And we're back to square one. All the healing and therapy I've done is out the window. So I have wised up, Doc, and I want the same for others. And I'm just so glad. This podcast taping was on time because I needed to vent to somebody on a professional level. I knew the answers already, but it still feels good to get validation from an actual professional because I've been invalidated my whole damn life by family. Well, and then too, she's being the ringleader of the smear campaign and everything, saying I'm mentally unstable. Well, Mom, I've sought professional help, still going through therapy, and I'm on a podcast with an actual clinical psychologist. Now, what are you going to say? So this is good. And it's good for my followers that are going through the same thing to get the validation. They need to hear it too. So thank you, Doc.
You are very welcome. And I'm glad that you trusted me. Yeah, unfortunately, I do know this stuff all too well. I'm glad I
Yeah.
do. I'm sorry I had to go through what I went through for myself to understand it even more. But yeah, our feelings are valid. Remember, they are not right or wrong. And when you have been invalidated over and over and over again, it is nice, even though you know, to have someone else say you did the right thing, or that was the right move, or yes, what you're feeling. There's no right or wrong to what you're feeling. And no one, this is for everybody, no one should ever, they do, but no one should ever be able to tell you your feelings are wrong. Because my feelings over a situation, same exact situation, are not going to be your feelings.
Right.
That doesn't mean
And
I'm wrong or you're wrong. It's based on our perspective and our experiences and all of that. That being said, if you don't like how you're feeling, you seek help to try to figure out how to get out of and change those feelings.
And maybe in the future we can talk about this, which is a huge issue. I don't know, I can't speak for other races, but in the African American community, Black toxic families using religion to guilt trip you into staying attached to your abusive parents. Oh, the Bible says, honor thy mother and thy father. Well, another scripture, and I don't know it offhand, but there's scripture in there that says, do not provoke your children to wrath as well, but they skip over that one all the time.
Well, you pick and choose and pick and choose. And it's interesting because in every religion, I'm Jewish, I'm going to say it about mine as well. There's so many different sects and denominations and you know, like one church can say something completely 90 degrees different than another church. And, you know, there's this version of the Bible and that version. Even religion can't be consistent within the religion. There's evangelical Christian, there's Protestant, there's Presbyterian. So, and what is the difference is they're just different parts of the Bible that we're going to emphasize. That we're
cherry picking.
Yes,
cherry picking.
big
You
time
pick and
cherry
choose.
picking. And so, yeah, I would love to. Chanel, on this note, we'll start wrapping it up because if we talk about everything, then we're going to have, but I would love to continue this. You tell me when you are available. It's got to be after probably the end of April or August because I'll be swollen. And I wear a face mask, but I would if I had to, but I don't want to. So we will do this again and continue this because this can be like a little series. I love this. I love the whole society and toxicity and sometimes glamorizing toxicity. That's another thing. Glamorizing it in songs and in and religion and all of that. We have so much.
Yeah. It was good getting caught up, Doc. We had a lot.
I'm talking to you because there's always a lot that we can talk about. So like, subscribe, share, click the little bell. It's supposed to let you know when we drop videos. Sometimes people say it doesn't always. So just come back to our page and check and comment. And the comments that we get on your podcast are, we got to have you back. So yes.
Anytime. Anytime, Doc.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc.